But then there's another uncomfortable truth. Because maybe you're listening to this and thinking, okay, I understand. I need to focus. I need to cut out the noise. I need to accept the season. And I think for a lot of you, you've known that for years. That's not the problem. The problem is that you almost just keep doing it. You keep almost doing it. Imagine standing at the edge of a swimming pool. You've already taken your shoes off. Your phone is on the chair. Your towel is ready. You stepped in the shallow end. The water's already up to your waist. You're already cold, but you refuse to dive in. So now you get all the discomfort of being wet without ever swimming. That's what you've been doing with your life. You've put almost your entire leg into the pool. You've already sacrificed. You've already missed things. You've already spent years saying, one day I'm going to lock in. But you still haven't jumped. And something I just want you to also confront yourself with is, how long have you been doing this? Where is it taking you and how long are you going to keep doing it? Because that's always a sobering thought, right? Just zoom out and be like, when did you start doing self-improvement? When did you start knowing about these things? How long has it been? What has changed? Probably nothing. And how is this going to play going forward? Because whatever's happened in the past, if you carry on doing the things you've done, you're going to carry on getting the results you've been getting. And I don't really need to take that point that much further. I think it's pretty self-explanatory. At some point you need to kind of be honest with yourself. And you don't get to be that honest with yourself if you can't sit with yourself and your own thoughts. And I think that's the difficult part. Just sitting by yourself, just really, really uncomfortable. But it's getting through that discomfort that's actually going to get you the answers you've been looking for. Again, the answers you're looking for are in the silence you're avoiding. Not forever. That matters. And I'm not telling you to disappear from humanity and become some isolated monk. I am telling you that maybe there are seasons of your life where you need to stop negotiating with the person you said you wanted to become. Maybe you need 6 months. Maybe you need a year. Maybe you need a period where your life becomes boring enough for something meaningful to grow. Where you stop needing every weekend to feel exciting. Where you stop panicking because nobody texted. I mean, how many times has that happened? I don't know, for me, it's a habit I've been getting better at, but I have this reflex where whenever I open my phone, I'm just scrolling on my notifications to see, if somebody has messaged me. I don't know what I'm looking for there, but yeah, let me just go back to my to my reading. Where you stop checking whether everyone remembers you, where you stop asking whether you're missing out, because you finally understand you were already missing out. You were missing out on your own life. You were missing out on the body you could have built, the work you could have created, the relationship with God you could have developed, the books you could have read, the skills you could have learned, the peace you could have found, and the man you could have become. You keep thinking disappearing means life is passing you by. But maybe life has been passing you by precisely because you refuse to disappear long enough to build one. So what does this actually look like? Because I don't want you to watch this video, feel something for 10 minutes, and then create another dramatic plan that you abandon by Tuesday. You do not need to reinvent your life. You need to reduce it. You need to decide what the season is for. And then you need to make your life simple enough that you can actually follow through. If you disappeared for the next 6 months, what would you want to come back with? Not what would impress Instagram, not what sounds ambitious, not 15 goals. What would genuinely change your life? Because if you cannot answer that question clearly, being alone will just become another form of wasting time. So you need a plan, a very simple one. So the first point I really want to bring up is you already know what you should be doing. I think that's one of the things you would have gotten out of, trying to sacrifice, trying to be better in your life. It's like, you know what you need to do. You already know you need to fix your sleep. You need to get your 8 hours at least. You need to wake up, don't go on your phone immediately, go read or go for a walk or whatever. You know what you need to do. You have a version of that already. So you don't need to come up with some elaborate plan. Your plan is good enough. You just need to kind of take out the things that are bringing in the noise. There's certain things you just don't need. I've already used the example, but if you're trying to get in shape or you're going to gym, you don't need to be watching more gym videos, how to get better, how to get bigger lats or whatever. It's not, right now it's not helping you. What you should be focusing on is just consistency. Just do the things you should be doing consistently enough that you can actually see results. Right? Then you get to a point where you're like, okay, I've actually built a lot of progress and I want to take the next step and now I want to build my lats. And you go watch a video and you learn whatever, right? But you already know, cut out the noise. Why do you need Instagram? Why do you scroll and look at people's stories? Why do you need all that stuff? And you know what the noise is. I don't need to be telling you this. You know what you need to kind of cut out. And there's something I also mentioned in there as well is figure out what you want to get out of this. Because as I spoke about in the monk mode video I've already made, you should have an end point. Like monk mode isn't for you to just disappear forever. That's not the point. Right? The point is that you want to create a season in your life where you're just focused on building something and you get something out of that season. So what do you want to get out of it? What are the goals you want to achieve? And similarly, you probably already know this. Like it's not anything crazy, right? And then work backwards from that. Cool. To achieve this, I need to do this, 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 and that. And 6 months is enough. Maybe I just need 3 months. Maybe I need a year, whatever. But then you build from that and it becomes more intentional. But the most important part in all of this is removing that noise, because you've got something there. You really have something there. You just need to take out the things that are stopping it from actually working. And then you do the basics again and again and again. That's it. You wake up, you pray, you work, you train, you eat properly, you read, you sleep, and then you do it again. There will be days where this feels powerful, days where it feels pathetic. There will be Friday nights where you question everything. There will be moments where you see everyone else together and wonder whether you've made a mistake. There will be moments when the silence becomes loud. Good. Stay there. Listen, write, pray, think. Let the discomfort finish its sentence. Because the goal is not simply to become more productive. The goal is to become a man who no longer needs constant noise to survive his own company. A man who can be alone without feeling abandoned. A man who can be still without reaching for stimulation. A man who can choose relationships because he loves people, not because he needs them to rescue him from himself. And ironically, that may be the man most capable of building the relationships he actually wants.